When I step back and look at the overall journey of my life, here's one of the things that stands out. The events that took me to greater levels, life and ministry defining moments, the times that I grew the most were mistakes and failures. The most valuable real estate in my life. And interestingly, the mistakes and failures I learned the most through, that were also the most painful, weren't acts of willful disobedience. They were decisions and actions that I made with good intentions, but because I lacked wisdom or had an issue of character that needed attending to, or a gap in my understanding, I fell over. And here's the truth. There are some graduations that our Father has for us that can only be achieved through mistakes and failure. And He'll actually allow us to make mistakes, even engineer the circumstances that may lead to our failure, because He has the bigger picture in mind. And this is especially true of those of us who have a prophetic calling. Peter's an example of someone who meant well, who loved Jesus. His intentions were good, but he had a character weakness. He was prideful, he trusted in his own strength, and Jesus allowed the circumstances to expose that weakness. Remember what He said to Peter. Simon, Simon, Satan is asked to sift all of you as wheat, but I have prayed for you, Simon, that your faith may not fail, and when you have turned back, strengthen your brothers. Jesus knew that there was a demonic assignment against Peter. He knew failure was up ahead, and yet He didn't intervene. He allowed it to run its course. Peter's failure and restoration that came afterwards marked a significant graduation in his life and ministry. Not only was he humbled and empowered, but God used Peter to help birth the church and transform nations. It's our Father's kindness and grace. He's seeing something that we don't. Perhaps we've had a blind spot or character weakness, and God's purpose in exposing it is to turn it to our greatest strength. Maybe we lack wisdom, and failure is the fast track to gaining that wisdom. Or perhaps like Peter, we've been depending on our own strength or on something or someone other than God, and our Father's allowing circumstances that will reveal that what we're leaning on is actually weak and fragile. And then we can found our work and ministry on Jesus the rock, depending only on Him. Today perhaps you can relate to this. Maybe you have a regret about a mistake or a failure. But there's good news. You can cooperate with God to turn your failure into favor. Here's 7 quick keys to help you do this. And number 1 is own your mistakes. Don't give in to the temptation to shift blame onto other people or onto circumstances that were outside of your control. Number 2, take time for restoration. Make whatever restitution is needed. Thirdly, accept God's forgiveness and forgive yourself. 4, learn and gain wisdom from that failure. 5, step into the upgrade that God has for you. 6, release regret, refuse to hold on to it. And number 7, from now on, see that failure as a marker of God's graduation in your life.